Hey everyone, it's Jim Cohn. Episode 10 of Circle of Willis is almost done. It's getting close. I'll be talking with evolutionary biologist David Sloan Wilson, who you may have heard of, about his work on multi-level selection theory, about his efforts to engage with the public through popular science communication, and here, in this preview, about what he calls the science-to-narrative chain. See you soon.
Science is a open-ended evolutionary process. It's a Darwin machine. But that doesn't mean that it necessarily works well. And
Right.
I think the idea of science working poorly and something that can, if we're more mindful about it, that science can work better, you look back upon certain scientific controversies. I can mention the group selection controversy. And then we've talked about the controversy over these schools of psychological thought. We've talked about social Darwinism. In each and every case, these are definitely scientific controversies. They often take decades to resolve, so they're recalcitrant. And if you look to see why, often with the benefit of hindsight, then you see, it didn't have to take this long. It shouldn't have taken this long. There was a certain kind of illiteracy, lack of scholarship, and other factors which caused these controversies to be as protracted as they were. And so actually we can do better. And I think we need to think about, the more we think about the scientific process in this way, that we actually can improve upon it and accelerate it, cause it to work better.
So one of the issues that's going to accelerate our wending of our way through these controversies is literacy. But also when I think about your work, especially in the last decade or so, I think about engagement, really bringing people together who are sort of on, nominally in these camps and having them actually engage with each other. You do that yourself quite a bit.
Yeah, at a number of levels. One is engagement among scientists.
Yes.
And the other is, of course, engagement with the general public, and which is, for example, happening at this moment through this podcast.
Yeah.
And earlier you were, before we got started, you were describing your dissatisfaction with little news spots, basically.
Yes.
If you're lucky enough to be featured on NPR or
Right.
Today or something
Right.
like this. That's the good
For
news.
your 3 minutes.
The bad news is that actually 3 minutes would be a long time. So, but over at the Evolution Institute, where we've really been seriously applying evolution to public policy, we developed a concept that I'm proud of. It might not be original, but it's called the science-to-narrative chain.
The science-to-narrative chain.
And,
That's great.
And what it notes is that science is necessary but not sufficient to solve the problems of modern existence. It needs to be, there also needs to be powerful narratives capable of reaching large numbers of people, and those narratives need to be connected to the science by a chain of intermediate material, of providing successive depth, so that no matter where you start out on this chain, you can learn more. So no matter what you currently know, in the first place you need to be engaged, and that's often with those 3-minute news spots, something that reaches very large numbers of people. And then from that point, there needs to be a way to learn more, such as a podcast. And from there, a book or...
Right, so that each one points to the other, perhaps.
And then it provides a path to the scientific literature. And in that way, among other things, the narrative is held accountable.
Okay, that's it. That's that. Thanks to my friend Hal Movius for composing and performing this little tune we got here that's playing in the background. Thank you, Hallam. And look for episode 10 and more David Sloan Wilson coming soon. I think you're going to love it. Bye-bye.